Hey folks, I'm getting ready to do a review. This is going to be a review on Southwest International Truck Services in Arlington, Texas. And I'll have a address on the screen here. Horrible place to take your vehicle, your diesel. Very unhappy with their work. One of the things they said I needed was a new steering rod that went from the right side to the left side, and I told them not to worry about it. And when I got it home, I looked up underneath there. I didn't see anything wrong with it. They said it was mangled, and it's not mangled whatsoever. It's in very good shape. They said they found this. They also said they found tie rod end, the bolt that goes up through the steering rod was stripped, and that they had put another bolt on it, and they found out that it was not the bolt, it was the tie rod end bolt, you know, the threaded portion, the male part. And so I told them to put the bolt back on and put the cotter key back in, and it would be good to go. Well, surprisingly, the service manager that I was dealing with doesn't remember that conversation. So anyhow, there's not, you can tell that they replaced the cotter pin, or they replaced the cotter pin. And I'm going to show you, I'll be showing you slideshows or pictures as I go along. So just look up, look up or whatever. You'll see it on the screen. Another thing they missed was when they were putting it all back together for the last time. There's 4 cables that hook to the hood for when it goes forward, to hold it in place from going all the way to the ground. Well, they only had 2 of those cables hooked up. So I went back for that, and they rehooked it back up. I thought they did anyhow. But right now, one is not hooked up. And there's going to be a picture for that right here. Another thing that I missed even was when they gave it back to me, the overflow radiator bucket is completely empty. I'm not going to take it back for that because I'm tired of dealing with them. Another thing they missed was they got the front right wheel bearing greased, but they forgot about the front left. And I'll got some pictures here. The way I figured this out was that I had painted my rims along with the lug nuts and the hub cap. You'll see what I'm talking about. But anyhow, on the right side, the paint was disturbed, but on the left side, it was not. That's how I knew that they did not even check those bearings. So when I took it back a week ago or so, they pulled that hub off and greased the bearing. Also, they said that the kingpins were worn. Unfortunately, I don't have enough knowledge on that. And one of the problems was their policy isn't to save parts unless you ask them to. So there's no way I can take that part to a expert and see whether or not he was actually worn. So that was a several $100 job. But the steering rod that they wanted to replace, they told me they weren't going to charge me any labor on that. They were going to just charge me for the part. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I don't know of any maintenance place that will just replace a part and not charge you for labor. Now, what I figured they did was they rolled the labor into the cost of the part. It was $800 to replace the steering rod, which I told them not to. So, also, it took them 3 times to, well, I'm not going to say it, they fixed it, but they had to pull the oil pan and then reinstall it 3 times for an oil leak. And let me show you the kind of oil pan seal they used, which is what this is what International recommends, is this oil pan seal right here. But as you can see, in a lot of places, like even right here, it's I don't know, it's been torn away, but it's missing. Not very good seal. But there's a and this is the OEM oil pan here, and you notice that thing right there is missing. That's because it's on the new oil pan, which is a duplicate of an OEM. It's not. It's an aftermarket. And the reason why I went aftermarket is because the Southwest International Service Center wanted $1,000, for over $1,000 for an OEM oil pan. They said that this thing was warped. Well, with the new oil pan that I bought, and they used a different seal. It's a seal that's it's rubber, and it's about 1/4 inch thick, and it's not recommended by International, but it worked better than International's. So they ordered that and put that in there, and for now I don't have a leak. But the fact that they wanted over $1,000 for this oil pan, and there's nothing wrong with it if they would have used the rubber O-ring, and I'll have a picture for that up there on the screen. If they would have used the rubber seal for this, I wouldn't have had to buy another a aftermarket oil tank. That cost me about $225. So there was, and then there's also the harmonic balancer. I sent pictures to friends of mine that knew a lot about cars, and they one of them in particular said that it looks like they took it off, put it on, took it off, put it on, and then took it back off again, because it had numerous hammer marks on it. And I'll have pictures of that on the screen for you. So I'm not sure that they didn't cause the damage and then charged me to replace it. And it was $400 for that. There's just not much they did to gain my support at all. Matter of fact, they lost my support. I would never take my vehicle back to them again. Such poor maintenance. I'm sure there's some good maintenance guys up there, but the ones who worked on my bus weren't very good. And there was 3 different individuals who worked on it. So, all in all, it was a terrible experience. I wouldn't go through them again. Anyhow, I just wanted to let you guys know. I don't know if they are if they're not international, but national. I know that I think there's at least 5 locations in Texas. I think at least that many. They might be national. If they are, don't go to them. That's my advice. Is don't go to them, because just so many things went wrong that it's hard to even remember all of them. I did talk the final bill down. It was $4,500, and I got them to come down to $3,700. But in my opinion, it wasn't worth the aggravation to pay $3,700, even though I paid it. Let's see what else was there. I think that's about. Oh yeah, they forgot to put a bolt in the hinge hood. Each hinge only has 2 bolts on the vehicle part side, then 2 bolts or 4 bolts on the hood side, and on the right side they left out 1 bolt. I don't know whether they ran out of bolts or what, but that's something. When I took it back, they had to find a bolt for it. They also had to service up the air conditioner because I guess they drained some Freon, because I had no cold air when I got it back. Now I have a little bit of cold air, but not very much. So there's some other problem along the line. But I do have cold air now. Not very cold, but it's cooler. All right, I think that's about it for this time. I appreciate you watching. I hope you got some good information out of this video, and that way you can make a good call. If you live in Texas and you plan on going to them, I would give that a second guess. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. I hope it helped you make a decision. And I hope you have a great day. Please remember to like, most importantly, share, and subscribe if you have not. And while you're subscribing, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll be informed of future uploads. Thanks for watching, and be safe.